Are you
Okay.
there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Jake.
Hey, is the pool cold?
Is the pool what?
Cold.
Gold?
Cold, like
Oh,
cold.
cold. No, it's actually really warm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. So we're in the Talmud, Tractate Sanhedrin, page 98a. We are in Sefaria, it's section 16. In the English, it says, Rabbi Yehoshua, son of Levi, Ben Levi, said to Elijah, being Elijah the prophet, when will the Messiah come? Elijah said to him, go ask him. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi asked, and where is he sitting? Elijah said to him, at the entrance of the city of Rome. Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi asked him, and what is his identifying sign by means of which I can recognize him? Elijah answered, he sits among the poor who suffer from illnesses, and all of them untie their bandages and tie them all at once, but the Messiah unties one bandage and ties one at a time. He says, perhaps I will be needed to serve to bring about the redemption, therefore I will never tie more than one bandage so that I will not be delayed. Now, if you click on the text and you go to commentary, where the third line under it says commentary 10, Rashi 7, Ben Yehoyada 1, click on Ben Yehoyada 1, and that link is actually in the chat. I did put it in the chat. And it, hold on, I'm just loading the text. 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to translate as best as I can. We can try to read it more than once, and maybe the second time will be better, but starting from here. All right. Vehecha Yosef Apischa Roime. And where is he sitting? Where's the Messiah sitting? Elijah answers, at the opening of Rome. So Hakavana, the intention, Al Pesach Gan Eden, comma. The intention is on the opening of the Garden of Eden. Kari le Gan Eden Roimi. We're calling Gan Eden Rome Blushan Militza with the terminology of Militza. Let me let me translate this 1 second. Trope, figurative, phraseology, riddle. I don't know. Okay. So we call the Garden of Eden Rome with lashon, a terminology, a tongue of Militza.
Why is the Garden of Eden called Rome?
So look at the next. See the next. It's going to explain. Ki hu miraymim al haaretz halazu, because it is elevated. Romem, Rome. It's called Romi in English Rome, but in the Hebrew Aramaic it's Romi, and both in English and in the Hebrew Aramaic it sounds like the Hebrew word miromem, which means elevated. Romem is elevated. Miromem is something with elevated. So it is elevated al haaretz halazu. It is elevated on this aretz.
Is that like the city that you used to like live next to, Marone?
Oh, that's very, very similar naming, Meron. That's very interesting because in Aramaic, sometimes the mem at the end of a word becomes a nun at the end of a word. So, for example, miromem or mirom might sound like miron. You know,
Yeah.
it might become miron. That's actually a really good call.
Thank you.
What's happening? Is someone doing like a video in? Or am I getting a call? I'm just confused. How do I hear ringing? Okay, cool. In the chat, it's nice to see there's separate chat going on. That's cool. That's cool. Anyways, all right. So, yeah, Rome is elevated on this earth, upon this earth, and it's called. I'm sorry. The Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden, is elevated upon this earth, and therefore it's called Rome. Hi, Terry. Welcome. It's good to have you, bro. We love you here. All right.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you. So I'm translating to English from a text that I don't have English translation for, but we said that Elijah the prophet told one of the sages, the Jewish sages named Yehoshua, I believe. I think we said Yeshua ben Levi, the son of Levi. Joshua, the son of Levi, met Elijah the prophet. I might be confusing the stories, but it might have been at the entrance to the cave of in Meron of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. There might have been a separate incident, but I think it was the same incident. He visits Elijah and he says, "Where's Mashiach come, Messiah?" And Elijah tells him, "Go and ask him." He's sitting at he says, "Okay, where's he sitting?" He's sitting at the gates of Rome. So we're saying that the intention is not that he's sitting literally at the gates of Rome, but he's sitting at the entrance of the Garden of Eden, which is called Romi, like Rome, because it comes from a way of saying, like it's a way of using the word like miromem, elevated upon this earth. So Gan Eden is called Rome, and it's maybe connected. Okay. And that which it says, we're continuing in the text from Mashemar, and that which it says, Yosef Beinei Aniyeh Esod Lechalem, that he's sitting between the paupers that are suffering ailments or sicknesses. That was a direct quote from the Talmud. Now he's commenting. Heim tzadikim shehem bechinas hamalchus. These are the righteous that tzadikim, righteous or saints that come from an aspect of kingship, malchut, the final sephira, the feminine. Delay slain migar maklum, that has to herself, from herself, from her bones, from her essence, klum, nothing. L'chein kroim aniyeh. Therefore they are called paupers. Behem soivlim yisurin, and they suffer through sufferings, or like they suffer.
Well, who? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Who is called the paupers? The righteous.
The righteous, who we said that are
Okay.
like the kingship, the sphere of Malchut kingship, to Leslie Migarma Klum, she has to her bones, like to her essence, nothing. Like she's like a empty vessel to receive from the foundation which is above her.
I was reading something about a letter yesterday that one of the letters means poor.
Probably Dalid. Dal is
I think it was Dalit, and it was kind of interesting because it was the same description. Because when I first read it, I was like, "Oh, why would a letter want to be like, or why would it mean poor?" But then the definition that I read is it was like because the letter could then actually be filled, like
very
as a vessel.
interesting. Yeah, and the word that we're using here for Malchut, we're saying delays lay, she has to her, there isn't to her. Delays is there isn't, delay to her. So delays that there isn't spells out Dalit. Dalit. It spells out Dalit. It's very interesting. The name Dalit also means that it doesn't in Aramaic.
Huh.
I'm screenshotting that and putting it in the chat so everyone can take a look at that.
Cool.
Okay, so we said therefore they're called Lachem Korem Aniyeh. Therefore, they're called destitute or poor. Behem soivlim yisurin bislapshus. Okay, and they are sovel. They are suffering yisurin afflictions. Bislapshus, with the enclothment or enclothing. Nafsham, of their nefesh. Nefesh is the lowest part of the soul, connected to the blood, and it's connected to the animation of the body, the physical animation that it's physically alive that animates the body. That's the nefesh. So bislapshus nafsham beguf, with the enclothment of their nefesh within the guf, within the body. The ein ha-nefesh margeshes, because the nefesh does not feel biyisurin, with afflictions, ella im kain, unless tislabesh, you enclothe beguf, in the body. So the nefesh doesn't get afflicted with anything unless it's enclosed in the body already. Ba'alei hamoimrim ha-talmidei chachamim, and upon them it said upon them it says the wise students, they say, Oy lanu al tsa'ar tzadikim, woe is to us on the pain or affliction of the righteous saints, v'chasidim, and the pious ones, asher began Eden, that are in the Garden of Eden. V'afer kach oimrim, and after they say, Oy lanu al tsa'arai shel Mashiach, woe is to us on the pain or affliction or pain, of the Messiah. And this is a quote. It says in parentheses from the evening of Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av. Like there's certain like woes that we read. We read certain woes, like laments. We sit on the floor and they cry. Also on the day following, but on the eve. So that's where it's from. What we just read, what we just quoted, the woes. That Havana and the intention, da Mashiach Vadaihu, that the Mashiach Vaday Hu Yoshe Began Eden, certainly he is sitting in the Garden of Eden, Bezivai v'Hadrai, with his radiance, and his Hadar is like a type of beauty, or yeah, I don't know exactly, but it's a certain type of beauty. V'Yikra is like his preciousness, or maybe also type of beauty. V'Rak Naise Nitzites, and he only gives a spark, Minafshai. He only gives a spark. We spoke about Arv Nutzit, a returning light. So a spark of a returning light. He gives a spark from his nefesh, shetilabesh beguf, that it should be enclosed into his body, the yispel yisurim, and it should suffer through ailments or sufferings. The Pesach Gan Eden, at the opening of the Garden of Eden, im oisam tzadikim, with those saints or righteous ones, who b'Shabbos, and on the Sabbath, v'yom tov, and good days or holidays, yispashet oisai hachelik, it spreads out or spreads forth that uh, particular chelek, that section or portion shaloi of his, me oisai haguf, from that body, from his body, v'yischaber im hamashiach, and it connects with the Messiah. I thought he was the Messiah. Okay, maybe we have to read that again. But v'alzeh hachelek shenoisen mimenu lispel yisurin, and on this chelek, this portion that he gives from it in order to suffer through afflictions, ka'amar kan, on this piece it says here, heicha Yosef apischa deraime. Where is it sitting? It's sitting on the entrance of Rome. That's that specific portion that suffers through the sufferings. Ubezet tavin, and through this you'll understand shaloi yiu soisrin divrei Rabbi Seinu Zechronim Levracha Zelazeh. And with this, you will understand that it shouldn't be contradicting the words of our rabbis of blessed memory, this one to this one. Okay, so we solved the contradiction there, apparently. Let's read farther, and then we can go over it. We should be probably like halfway through. I don't know. It's a long piece, but the second time will definitely help us understand. But for now, let's get through it and see what's written. Dihine af al pi, and behold, even though sha'isam tzadikim, that those saints sovlim tsar, they suffer afflictions or pain. V'yisurim tsar v'yisurim, they're both pains and afflictions, and they suffer through them. The kaperis Yisrael, to be mechaper, to atone for Israel. Mikol makayim, in any case, him saru or sharu ve'asrei hachoylem b'chad zimna. We said this means like unwrapping and wrapping the bandages, I think.
So you said, I'm just sorry. I'm so sorry to cut you off. If you don't want me to, I just don't want to forget.
Yeah, sure.
But it said something like, so the suffering is the suffering for Israel.
Yeah, we did say that straight out. Yeah, we said even though that those righteous, they suffer pain and affliction in order to atone for Israel. Yeah, direct
So they
quote.
actually take on the atonement. So their suffering is the actual atonement for Israel. So like for the sins of the people, the sins of the nation, they're taking on the suffering themselves to atone for Israel.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is the Talmud?
No, this is a commentary on the Talmud. He might be quoting the Talmud or something, but this is a commentary called Ben Yehoyada. I don't know when he was alive, but he's pretty famous, I think.
And they're saying that the righteous do this, or the Messiah will do this.
The saints, the righteous.
So the saints will take on the suffering. So their suffering is actually atonement for all of Israel.
Yeah.
So for people.
Right. Yeah. Anyone who's a tzaddik, we said a tzaddik is someone who gives completely with no desire to receive, like the foundation which gives to Malchut. We said Malchut we just spoke about now. We spoke how she has nothing of herself other than what she received from above, from Yisod foundation. Previously, we spoke about foundation that gives from itself completely with no desire to receive. It just give it completely, and it's giving to the Malchut. Yisod and Malchut are Sephira number 9 and Sephira number 10, the last two. Number 10 is the feminine. Number 9 is the masculine, but it includes everything above it before giving it over to the Malchut. Malchut then becomes the crown for the next level.
And so the righteous people, the saints, what we just talked about, what level is that, or what word is that?
Tzaddik, it means a saint. It's usually associated with foundation, Yesod.
Yesod, and the foundation is like